everybody. This is a first for us today. I'm Thomas and I'm joined with Dan. Dan, tell
How you
us a
doing?
little about yourself.
Yeah, so my name's Dan. I have a very, very small YouTube channel, and I do basically home gym content and stuff like that. The biggest thing I want to do right now, I'm kind of like in that weight loss journey. So I've been as high as 330 pounds and as low as 194 pounds.
Hmm.
And I just was documenting some of my home gym stuff. That's like a big passion of mine. But I basically saw some of Thomas's videos recently, like in the past 2 months, I would say, and I just reached out. I was saying, like, you know what, we have a super similar body type. We have, you know, a lot of the same struggles and everything,
Hmm.
except
Hmm.
I noticed that Thomas is super positive, which is like something that's super rare. So I just messaged him. I was like, hey, I feel like we should talk. I feel like there's a conversation to be had. I don't think there's enough people that are like, like not just overweight, but like obese,
Hmm.
and like trying to make that change, and then talking about all the issues that come along with that, right? I feel like it's
Hmm.
always just somebody who's super fit, who's super jacked, or people who have just lost a little bit of weight, or people who have just like fully lost all the weight and they look amazing right now and they're done with the transformation and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically it. That's basically what we're trying to do today.
Yeah, I love it. The way you reached out was great as well. That's one of the things I love about the internet. It's a great place, and it is what you make of it. You reached out in the comment section and said, "Hey, did
Yeah,
you see my other message?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't see it." Then you're like, "Are you okay if we talk a little bit?" And so we
yeah,
reached out, we got to talking, and yeah, one thing led to another, and here we are today. Which again, that's what the internet, in my opinion, should be all
yeah,
about. It's just like-minded people just coming together and hopefully creating a little bit of value and advice and positivity and joy. I think that's
yeah.
the best thing.
And for me, it wasn't even like I was talking to you about it as well. It wasn't about trying to find or like grow a channel, right? That's
Hmm.
why I guess I'm not someone who uploads all the time. It was
Hmm.
literally more for in high school, in my friend group, in my work group, whatever. Nobody has that similar thing, right? Nobody understands what it was like when you're losing weight or when you like
Hmm.
lose weight and you have a certain
Hmm.
body type and then you maybe look fine in a shirt, but then like you still never take your shirt off, right? Like anywhere you go. So nobody
Yeah.
understands that. So I made a YouTube channel um, to kind of find like-minded people. Like I wanted to find people that are into the gym, but they're
Hmm.
also, people who struggle with food, people who struggle with food for years, right? I'm 28, almost
Yeah.
29, and I've been, overweight my whole life, right? Since I was, 10 years old, right? And so
Yeah.
it's always been a struggle. And it's you see a lot of people out there that are overweight, but they don't. No one talks about it, right? Like people
Yeah.
just don't talk, and so that was the main reason that I wanted to create like my Iron Phoenix home gym channel,
Hmm.
and just to reach out to people, to positive people that I want to surround myself with, like you. So it worked out
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah. So it kind of to tie
And
into
we're
that, I
wearing the
think.
same thing too, eh?
Yeah, I think what we I
Black and
think
black.
what we're gonna try and do here is we're gonna take this video. You're gonna have a copy, I'm gonna have a copy,
Yep.
and then we'll each have it up there, and we can just help each other out and just spread that message. I think
Yeah, it's just
that's
like a conversation, man. Like just
exactly,
about
exactly.
our lives, right? About what
Yes,
we all struggle with, right? And that's like
yeah.
I think the main people that watch your channel and I get a lot of people who like home gym stuff, but eventually I want it to be more of that. It's just people who are trying, they're just struggling. They're like
Yeah.
really struggling with it and
Hmm.
they're like, I feel alone, right? It's just you
Yeah.
feel alone. Everyone just tells you like, hey, just stop eating or just don't eat so much or just like it's not a big deal. And they don't understand the addiction that it really is.
You're absolutely right. And what's crazy is in a day and age where weight issues are such a big thing for such a large, portion of the population, regardless of whether or not it's, the US, the UK, Canada,
Hmm.
it's amazing that you could have such a large demographic and yet still feel so alone. Like it just blows my mind, which is
Yeah.
why I created the channel, is because I was like, there's got to be other people out there struggling. It just doesn't make sense. The numbers just don't add up. And yet, like you said, we go through this feeling so alone. We don't
Yeah.
have to do that. Let's get out there
No,
and have some conversations. That's
I
that's
think
what
it's
it's all
like
about.
I don't wonder, and that's a good point because I wonder what that is. I don't know if it's
Mhm.
like a men women thing as well
Yeah,
because I think men really don't talk about it, or we're just
yeah,
told like it's oh, you're just a big guy, right? He's the big guy. That's a big guy, right?
Yes.
And you're always secretly just like crying on the inside. Like you don't want to
Yes.
be just a big guy all the time. And I think women really support each other like a
Yeah.
lot, right?
Hmm.
Like I don't get compliments. Like I got a compliment like once. If I lost when I lost like 100 pounds, I got a compliment,
Yeah.
right? And like and that sticks with you for years. But like I think women compliment each other so much. They talk to each other so much. They're like, that looks good. That outfit looks great. Your hair looks great.
Yeah.
For men, we just don't do that. Like men to men, women to men, it's just not like a platonic thing that happens really
Yes.
often. And so I think that's part of it. That also is like the men aren't talking about it. They're not trying to explain like it's like you don't have to be tough about it all the time. Like
Hmm.
having I also reached out to Thomas because of we have a very similar body type, right? I put a lot of
Yeah.
chest on my fat, a lot on my stomach. My arms aren't big, my legs aren't really that big, but that body type that I have just it makes me feel like so effeminate and all that stuff like that, right? It's I don't want to talk about it, and
Yeah.
people don't understand what it looks like. So I mean, I don't know how you're so confident with that, right? You just take it off and you're good to go.
Well,
Where'd that
you
come
know,
from?
it is what it is. We had that conversation. You and I spoke a couple
Yep.
of days ago, just very briefly, and you mentioned that there's certain body types where men could, where the weight is
Yeah.
in the gut, right?
And
And
it's
you
like
go to the
from the side you see it, and the front it's just like they're perfectly
yeah,
like you don't even know they're overweight.
yeah. I was not blessed with those genetics, you know. Me, it's just
Me
like
neither.
yeah, I look like a melting wax candle.
Yeah.
It's like oh God. So
Like
no,
ice cream.
I
I'm like
just I
old ice
figured
cream.
I figured the internet, you're not going to get away with anything. People will, they'll see it, they'll
Yeah.
point it out. So I was like, let's just get ahead of it. Let's take the shirt off. That's why I made a point to do it on my first video.
Right.
And I tell you what, man, when I uploaded my first video, here I am thinking, I wasn't thinking rationally. I was thinking, oh my God, the whole world's going to see me, without a shirt.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I had what, I think 30 or 40 views on my first video. And I'm like,
Right.
oh, and what I realized is that a lot of people are actually really supportive,
Yeah.
and the ratio really is you about 80, 90% good, and
Right.
10, maybe 20% that are just I wouldn't even say bad. Most of them are just critical, and then
Yeah.
some of them are just downright rude, and you're just like, whatever." But
So has
yeah,
it changed your own confidence with that? Like, has it made like, are you someone who takes your shirt off when you go to the beach, even before you lost weight, or now that you've lost more weight? Are you someone who always like around family? Because I never take my shirt off. Like, I
oh no,
never do
never,
it
never.
like ever. So it's like crazy to see that you do it online. So like, has the positivity made it easier? Has the negative stuff made it harder, or is it still the same?
A little bit of both. So my mom and dad have only just actually started watching the channel.
Oh, okay.
I told them for the longest time, I don't want you involved. My wife doesn't watch the channel. I'm like, I just want to do this for me.
Yeah, that's
Taking
great.
my shirt off in front of the camera,
Yeah,
it was kind of this way of me going to the virtual beach and just
yeah,
but the same as you, I cannot do it in front of my family. I was in
yeah,
Florida in December over Christmas. We went to the beach. I had one of those like fishing shirts, the sun shirts
yeah, yeah,
on
yeah. Yeah.
the whole time. I was like, I'm
Yeah, I'm
still not
always
there.
wearing I'm always wearing something. And
Yeah,
it's like or if I'm wearing a t-shirt, I'll wear like something like a like one of the Hawaiian shirt whatever, something but a button up in front of
yeah,
it. I've only like one cousin who is also super overweight. I've shared like we I took my shirt off
yeah,
and like my mom once or twice and it was through like an experience like in a traumatic thing and I was trying to like open
yeah.
up and explain like this is why I have these I get
Mhm.
upset so much this is why I have such low confidence like I don't look normal, right?
Yeah,
But other than that, and that was only recently, like nobody ever sees me and that sucks, right? Because it's like
yeah,
even like it's hard because it's like even with my own wife I'll still keep a shirt on, right? So it's like
yeah.
and I don't
Yeah,
know if
I
you're
know
like
that
that,
one.
that's
Yeah,
like
I know
personal, but like
that
I'm
feeling
still
very
like that
well.
and over time I'm getting a little bit better with it, but
Yeah,
like it's funny because people like they always say they're like, especially with my shirt on, people can't tell, but they always
yeah,
say they're like, it's fine, like there's nothing, it's not going to be
yeah,
anything. I'm always thinking, I'm like, but you don't know, like you
yeah.
don't know what's actually under there. If you
Hmm.
saw it, you'd be like, oh, that's not what I thought. Like I like they're still going to support you and all that stuff,
Yeah,
of course, but I guess it's like in their head, I'm like thinking they're going to be like, okay, well, yeah, he is right.
Mhm.
it's not pretty under there, right?
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that's the thing. That's why it's like there's not many people that look like us that are showing it off, right? Because
Yeah.
it's very difficult up here, very
Yes.
difficult.
Yeah. The 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 body positivity movement, I feel like it's brought out the extremes.
Yeah,
Because I can say this as somebody who still, I mean, I'm still a ways from my end goal, right? There there is a point in time where people they will hurl abuse, they will hurl the jokes and the comments and the critique, and a lot of times they'll do it under the I'm just being a good friend. I'm just, I just want what's
yeah,
best for you. But
yeah,
then the way that they're saying it, or the way that they're coming across, it's like, is that really what you're trying to do? Because
yeah,
it kind of just sounds like you're just trying to be critical and have an excuse of, well, I
yeah,
care about you. And that's the tough thing, because on the one hand, I don't want anybody to blow smoke up, what.
yeah,
I just, you know I think, like you were saying, true friends, real friends, are the kinds
yeah,
that'll have those tough conversations and they say, look, man, I worry about you, that's all.
yeah.
I just
I
want you
care
to get
about you.
along.
That's why I want to. I want to be able to help
Exactly.
you here. I haven't had that. I've never like it's difficult to find a friend like that, right? So
Sure.
like, and that's also what's drawn me to your channel. I think what's drawn a lot of people to your channel too, right? Like, because there's a reason you have like that 1,000 subscribers, like you got there, and some people. I mean, again, it's like some people say it's not a lot, but it's a lot, right? What do you have now? Is it over 1,000 or is it?
Yeah, 1,045, I think, something like
Yeah,
that.
so it's like it's what you're doing is niche and all that stuff, and you're doing it, so you're not trying to like do anything crazy. You're not doing some crazy prank. So you're accumulating these people that are bought in, right, to your journey
Yeah,
and stuff like that. So those are the people. Those are like it shows that positivity. I
yeah.
think that's your number one thing. I think that you're a nice guy, so people are like really into that and they really like that, and that's what drawed me to it.
I
But
appreciate that. Thank
we
you.
don't have people like I don't have people around me that are like I would love that. Like, hey, I want to let's go to the gym. I'm gonna help you out,
Yeah,
and not because there's anything wrong with you, not because I think this is because I literally think, you know, you could do this, like you could be
yeah,
great, like you have great shoulders, like let's go to the gym and
yeah,
let's work on it and just have that friend.
yeah.
But it's very difficult to find because
It is.
mostly like all my friends that when I had in school and stuff, they're already in shape, they're already doing all these things that I
Yeah,
couldn't do, right? Either
yeah.
physically or mentally. I didn't want to be running with everything bouncing all over the place,
Right,
right? I just felt
right.
like, ugh, I don't want to do that. Like I feel uncomfortable. There's people there, there's girls there, there's guys there. Like
Yeah,
I'm not like one of the normal kids, and that just I think that affects you so poorly, like your whole life.
yeah,
Because I see people like there's like a lot of overweight people that are super confident with it, and then you're just thinking, and then they get like everything, they get a much more full life, and
yeah,
you're thinking, you're like, was it just like my mentality, or like does because people still bully you at the same time. So you're
yeah.
like, what is it? Is it my mentality towards how I'm being? Am I not confident enough? Or is it literally my weight keeping me back? But then what about those who have they're positive and they're
Mm,
big and it like never affects them and they have tons of friends, great
yeah,
social life, they're happy.
yeah.
I don't know, right? So it really depends on the person.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. One of my favorite actors of all time. He's from your neck of the woods, John Candy.
Okay, yeah,
He
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Man, from everything I've read and heard and seen about him, he just had a heart of gold, right? But he was a
Yeah.
bigger guy. He
Mm-hmm.
had his vices. Um, and I look at him, and every single person that I've ever spoken to about him, they all say the same thing. Oh my God, he seemed like such a great guy. He left us way too soon,
Yeah.
but I'm sure that no matter how well he took all of the criticisms and the articles, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure that there was a part of him deep down that
Yeah.
just it must have just killed him inside to
Yeah.
hear that. And so when we go through our days, and we'll get that one comment that'll just completely wreck our day. And it still happens. Like,
Yeah.
like I was saying, it's not often, but every now and then someone will say something you're like, whoa, that took me right back to high school or whatever. It was like,
Yeah.
and so, to have that on an amplified level, like I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's a tough world out there. And even though that 80 or 90% that is good is
Mm-hmm.
really, really good, it is still very, very hard
Yeah.
to be 80 and 90% positive and only 10 to 20%, and focus on those 10 to 20% of the negativity. Because
Yeah.
the negative really does, it has a much
Yeah,
larger impact.
yeah, because you remember it more, right? Like it's
Yeah.
more traumatic, right? And you
Yeah.
remember it more than all the good stuff. Like it's
Oh
hard,
yeah.
right? You got to be grateful for what you have, but
Hmm.
you're always it's always grass is always greener, right?
Yeah.
Maybe so if we're putting on both our channels, maybe we should talk. Like you go first.
Yeah.
Let's maybe recap your year.
Okay.
Tell me about when you first started the channel.
Yeah.
Uh, what you're just mainly what you're doing. Like I'm eating roughly this much. I exercise this much. These are my results so far. Maybe let's just recap that like simply, and then I'll do the same thing in my past year.
That's actually a great idea. 15 minutes in, and I hadn't even thought of that. So
No,
yeah,
that's
good
part of it.
one.
That's all good.
So yeah, so I'm Thomas. I started in 2024, January 2nd of 2024, at my heaviest weight ever. So 326.6 pounds.
Oh, so that's and
Um,
how tall are you?
5'8",
5'8". Okay, so I'm
5'8".
5'11".
Yeah,
5'11".
I was 27 at the time. I'm 28 now. I'm about to turn 29.
Oh, okay, so we're the
Um,
same age. I didn't even know
we're
that.
yeah, we're a lot of parallels, I'm
Oh,
noticing.
okay. When's your
Um,
birthday?
March.
Mine's March too.
This is weird. This is
That's
crazy.
crazy. Maybe
I like it.
I won't say the exact day, but
Yeah,
I'll tell you
when
after.
we
But it's
become
mid.
YouTube
I'm mid March.
famous,
I'm
it'll
mid
all get out
March.
there. But basically, the goal was, I just said, you know what, I want to do something with my life. I want my time, however long or short it is on this earth, to be of value, and I want to leave something behind. And so I
Yeah.
decided to start a YouTube channel, the Getting My Life Back YouTube channel, and it
Hmm.
was just about creating a space where I could just be consistent, and it wasn't about results. It wasn't about algorithms and metrics. It wasn't about us losing a certain amount of weight. It was just about getting on to YouTube once a week
Right.
and just weighing in, just showing people that consistency
Yeah.
is out there, that there's folks out there that are struggling. And over time, it kind of snowballed a little bit. Over time, it got better. Over time, the crowd started to grow a little bit, and so it kind of progressed a little bit. And now it's a weight loss YouTube channel where I still
Right.
hop on once a week. I weigh in, and I basically, my goal now is to get down to 150 pounds. I'm
Okay.
175 as of Monday.
Almost
And
there, right?
that's what I'm all about right now. Right now, it's the weight loss, and once I get down there, it's going to be about my diet and my
Yeah.
exercise, and what I'm going to do to hopefully bulk up and gain some of the muscle that I've lost along the way.
Right. What's your diet been looking like this whole time? Like what? Like, and this is the first time you've tried to lose the weight like properly, or have you always like have you taken it seriously before? Because I've done it like seriously multiple times in my life, and then
Well,
other times you kind of just mess around. You're like, oh, I'll go on a diet, and it's like
sure,
doesn't
sure.
really happen properly.
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of both. I mean, there's definitely been times where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this. It's going to happen. There's times where I was like, well, I should get on a diet. And then that lasts for about a day.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
this is
yeah,
kind of the first time where I have had consistency on a long-term basis. I mean, it's only been a year and a month, but this
yeah.
has been the longest I've ever committed to it.
Why is it
As
working this time? Like, why is it working this time versus? Is it because of the YouTube channel? Like because of the accountability?
I'd say the accountability has been a big thing. I also think having an actual end goal to work towards has been a
Okay.
big thing. Um, in my other times and attempts, I've kind of just, well, I should probably lose a little bit of weight. So I didn't really have a
Yeah, yeah,
goal. I
yeah,
was
yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of aimlessly walking around, kind of
I
what's
got
going to
you.
happen. So there's that, and then also I've been just been trying. That sounds very cliche, but I haven't set myself these huge expectations other than get up every day and try. That's
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Um,
How many
and
calories are you eating? Like, how did you figure out all the diet part of it? Like,
so internet
from the
again.
beginning till now.
Yeah, internet's been a wonderful tool.
Hmm.
There is a website I use called calculator.net.
Yep.
Um,
That's like the main one, like everyone
It's like the
uses.
main one. Yeah, exactly. You,
Yeah.
you punch in your height, your weight, your activity level, and
Yep.
it'll give you a calorie threshold. It'll actually give you four. So one is for no exercise, the other is
Yep.
for light, and then moderate, and then heavy.
I do
And
light. I
so,
usually select light,
yeah, exactly.
right?
I always try and give myself the 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 lowest margin to give myself hopefully the highest chance of success. And
Okay.
so that's what I did from the get-go was
And how
give
many
myself,
calories was that roughly?
oh, when I was at my biggest,
Like, yeah, when you first started, how many calories did you start your diet at?
I think it was recommending about 3,500 calories per day
Okay.
to lose weight.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I undercut that because
Yeah.
that was a lot of calories. And I was like, yeah, I could probably do a little better.
Yeah.
So I was realistically at about 2,700 in the beginning.
Okay.
And then every about 15 or 20 pounds, I would go back in, punch in my new weight, and then
Hmm.
I'd then, correct based on the new number it gave me.
You
Uh,
just stayed there though. You stayed at 2,700 like until you felt like it. You didn't go. Did you cheat a lot? Did you go up? Did you go down? Like, or once you made this decision, is it fairly easy for you? Like, except for when you go on vacation, etc.
so cheat meal, I only ever have one a week.
Yeah, I know that.
And nothing is ever going to go above that. Cheat meal or not, my calories are never going above that number.
Wow.
Um, so lately, it's been strict as well because of course I've just gotten back from vacation, so I'm back
Yeah.
in, I'm in high
Yeah.
gear. But yeah, at the moment I'm at about 1,300 calories a day.
Wow.
That's what it is. I've been told it's a little bit low, from the folks on YouTube. I
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
just concerned, but
Yeah.
but my thing is this, I emphasize this in a lot of my videos. Listen to your body. Your
Yeah.
body will tell you what's up, right?
Yeah.
If you're out of focus, if you're lightheaded, right? Your body's giving you all signals all the time.
Yeah.
Um,
For sure.
my energy level's good. My
You're all
my
good.
tip, yeah, I'm feeling great.
How's your
So
sleep?
it's great. Oh yeah.
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 Interesting.
I'm sleeping a lot less. I don't get up to pee, which is great.
Good.
I'm snoring a lot less.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been overall. I don't think I can say that I've had really any negative side effects.
Wow. From
Yeah.
going that low. Okay. So you've been there and now you're down, you said around 175,
Yeah,
right?
175. Yeah.
At 1,300 calories. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, me, the past year, I think for a while I held 220. So my highest was the 330, similar to
Yeah.
Thomas. And I held 220 for a while, right? And
Yep.
the way I got there, like this is before the past year, the way I
Yeah.
would get to that 220 from my usual of 300 pounds is I would basically just not eat. Right? It wasn't like I would literally just have smoothies. This is before I knew about like weight training or anything like that. I
Yeah.
would just be eating whatever smoothies, and then at the end of the day, I'd have like a bunch of salad and like chicken or whatever. Sometimes I'd cut up like chicken nuggets and just put them in there or
Hmm.
something. But I was basically eating like very little, right? And I would just try to walk a lot or whatever. And I think like the first every time you do when you weigh a lot, you lose a lot of weight in the first like couple months. So I think the
Yeah.
first 3 months I lost like 15 to 20 pounds like each month. So like in 3 months, but I was barely eating, right? But eventually I got there and I just fluctuated a lot between that 210 to 240 for a
Hmm.
while. When I met my now wife, we were both, or I was 220, and then that relationship weight you put on a little bit, so I
Oh,
slowly crept
yeah.
up, had the first son, had the second
Yeah.
son. By my second son, I was 280
Yeah.
pounds, and then then this leading up to last year. Then I took 15 months off because of the in Canada we get a really good parental leave.
Okay.
So I took 15 months off. I only got like 33% of my pay. So I was like, this is it. But we could make it work, right? Because it's me, my mom, my wife, we're all in the same
Sure.
house, right? So we can make it work. It's just it'll be tight, but we'll make it work. And I thought I was gonna I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna do 10 pounds a month, 20 pounds. Like I'm gonna get it. By the time I come back to work, I'm gonna be like new. So I was 280. I'm like I'm gonna be like 185 by the end of
Yeah.
it, which is funny because you were doing that the whole time that I was going up and down and up and down, right? So it's like the big problem that I've always had is this binge eating thing, right? This thing of I eat when I'm happy, I eat when I'm
Yeah.
sad, I eat when I'm
Oh
bored,
yeah.
right? So when I've lost a bunch of weight, I'm like, oh, when you get under a threshold, like you get to
Yeah.
239 or 229, like all that, $199. I'm like, I'm celebrating, right? I feel happy,
Yes.
right? I want to eat a little bit more, and or if I'm feeling really bad, I want to eat some more, right? And all that stuff. So I never really fixed that. So I went through a lot of stuff throughout the year. I think I still lost like 40 or 50 pounds that year because I went down from 285, 280 to 240 now. But it was more like it was spurts of like weeks, 2, 3 weeks of being good, 1 week where I would maybe falter on my diet, right? A month of being better, and another 3 weeks where I would. So I was netting probably like just 5 pounds in a month, right? But from average, right? And so I ended up there anyway, but through a lot of turmoil, right?
Hmm.
It's a lot of struggle and everything like that. And so like that's the big struggle for me. And the whole time I was doing, like, I have a home gym, so you guys can see that on my
Yeah.
channel. And I was doing a lot of bodybuilding training, so I put on a good amount of muscle too. I probably put on, like, I would say in that 15 months, at least like 8, 10 pounds of
Wow.
muscle, something like that, which is a lot of muscle for like that year because I finally started taking it seriously. But that's the thing. My calories anywhere from around 2,800 is what I'll lose a very small, or I'll be at like a maintenance.
Hmm.
Um, but then 2,000, 1,800, I found whenever I went down to like 1,500 or 1,300 or stuff like that, maybe because I'm doing it from such a higher weight, that it was way too low for me. So I haven't, what Thomas is doing is the right way. Like, he's doing this, and when this stops working, he brings it down a bit more. And then when it stops working, he brings it down a bit more. And that's the long game, which is like the hardest thing for me to remember. Is like, when you're losing weight, if you try to go like this, you're going to go back up because the hunger is so great, right? That all those fat cells in your body are just aching for more food, and they're sending those signals to keep eating, right? And that you're even more hungry. So I think it's, I don't know if you ever felt this though, maybe in the past. It's one of those things where it's like, if you start, you're like, I want to start and I don't want to lose just like a pound a week. I want to see something, right? And then you lose that motivation. So I don't know if you have anything to say on that.
I do. I do. There. You asked me earlier about has the YouTube has the uploading the videos once a week, has that been a help?
Yeah.
And I would
Hmm.
definitely say if I wasn't uploading to YouTube, I don't think that I would have the good fortune and the success that I've had up until now.
Interesting.
You talk about binging, and you eat when you're happy, eat when you're sad, eat when you're bored.
Yeah.
I still get those that urge when I'm like, oh, there's a good movie on. I need a snack,
Yeah.
or oh, the football is, oh, I should have some.
It makes the experience so much
It does.
better though, right? Like, it's like you're sitting there, you're watching a show, and you're like, I just want, like, and that's what, like, it's weird how much happiness that
It
brings me
does.
in the moment.
Yes.
It's a lot. I don't know what that
Yeah.
is, but it's very, very comforting.
It is. Oh, 100%. 100%. We've got Super Bowl Sunday right around the corner. Big day for
Yeah,
TV here in the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
States. I mean, and that
Yeah,
is, that's when everybody fires up the
it's part of
grills.
it.
They get their best recipes out. Like, it's a fun time, but it is also a
Yeah,
scary time as well. It's like, oh gosh.
yeah,
And and so, back to what I was saying, it's like knowing that, okay, in 2 days I've got to get on those scales again, and the whole world's going to
yeah.
see. That does keep
Yeah, that's a
me
big part
that
of
does
it.
keep me level, so in a lot of ways I'm very, very
Interesting.
fortunate because
Would you say that's like 50% of it? Like, is it half of why you're still going, or is it a small, or is it a big amount? Because it's kind of like The Biggest Loser, right? Every week they have to do
yeah.
it, but then when that's gone, they start to have a harder time. So do you fear that?
Yeah, in the beginning I would say that that was definitely what was going on. Over time it became less about the number on the scale and more about the people. Not
Mm,
to say that the number on the scale doesn't matter. It holds a lot of weight, literally.
yeah,
But it's the people. It's having these
right.
conversations. Like, I wouldn't be talking to you if I hadn't started that channel up a year ago. Like,
Yeah,
at some point in time, the number was, it's still great and still important, but now it's about, hey, what kind of a community am I building? Like, almost every day now,
right.
there's a comment of somebody saying, hey, I'm checking in from Australia, or hey, I'm checking in from Finland, like,
Yeah,
and it's all these incredible people that now I just love it. It's such a great
yeah,
experience.
yeah. I wonder how many people are feeling better because they see it's like just seeing you with your shirt off and then like being confident about it. I wonder how many people are feeling better in the same way that like like a lot of like women have that they have like these celebrities
Yeah.
that are showing off their
Oh,
bodies
it's yeah,
and showing themselves being confident, and then people have to look up, they have that to look up to.
yeah,
Like when I look at a Marvel movie, there ain't no you know right, there ain't no fat guy as a main character, right? Like it hasn't happened, right? So we don't see that,
yeah,
right? So we have to rely on these YouTube things,
yeah,
and I think that would make a big difference too. But like, I mean, how much of an impact are you making? I wonder, right? And that's with a smaller channel.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, and there's been a lot of focus on me, and one of the things that I wanted to talk about here was you. I wanted to talk about your
Yeah,
Iron Phoenix. I wanted to talk about your home gym, because we are, 1,000 or 150 subscribers.
yeah,
We are in the in the very, very
oh yeah,
shallow end of
for
the
sure.
YouTube pool. And that's
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
the
yeah,
things I love about it, is because the only way for us to grow is hopefully up. That's the
yeah.
so
It's true.
talk to me about you, about bodybuilding, about the love for home gym, about, yeah, I want to
Yeah,
hear about it.
I think for me, like I've always identified when you're lonely, when you don't have a lot of like friends and stuff like
Hmm.
that, which I don't know how you grew up, but that was me, right?
Uh-huh.
That was like I had a friends group and then it would fall out, and then I would spend a lot of times alone, a lot of times isolated, stuff like that. So I'd always watch and like relate to like actors,
Hmm.
right? I'd see like handsome actors, people in good shape, people who do like body transformations and stuff like that, especially for those like Marvel
Yeah.
movies. Like when Captain America comes out of that thing and he's like
Yeah.
jacked, right? I'm like,
It's like,
whoa.
oh,
Um, or like there was this movie with Ryan Reynolds, Just Friends,
oh
and
God,
he's like this
yes.
fat guy. Dude, I love that freaking movie,
It's
right?
so
And then he just
accurate.
comes back, right? He comes back and he's like shredded and all that
Yeah.
stuff, and then but like he still feel like he's different, right? And I had those experiences when I was like when I lost weight, I got way more attention and stuff like that, and then I would go out with my friends at the time. We'd have it was just like me and two guys. You go to the club, and sometimes they went to the gym, and I would tag
Yeah.
along here and there, and eventually I would go to the gym on my
Mm.
own. But I didn't really like when I did lat pull downs, like my stomach would like
Hmm.
pop out,
Hmm.
right? Or when I'm doing other exercises, like my man move is like in this way.
Yeah.
So I never felt comfortable
Yeah.
in the gym, right? But I started to really see those superhero movies, and I started following bodybuilders and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I want to start to like try to actually get
Yeah.
jacked. Jersey Shore too. I saw Jersey Shore,
Okay.
and like um, when I was in I don't know about you, but when I was in high school, Jersey Shore was a big thing, and all those guys were always like gym tan laundry. They're always like jacked, and you just look at their arm like, whoa. So I've always thought about hero look and like that main character look, and I think it's like I've always wanted to feel stronger because I always felt so
Yeah.
weak, right? I always felt like I couldn't defend myself, or I couldn't like I don't want to start confrontation. So I always got out
Hmm.
of things with my mind, but like I want to feel like, oh, don't mess with him, right? Because I just wanted to feel that confidence, right? But yeah, so it started with the gym, and then like in the public gym, and then I bought like a something off. We have it's called Kijiji
Okay.
here. I don't know what it's called there. It's basically Facebook Marketplace. I bought like a bench, right, and I was doing bench press and stuff, and I would start to do my chest days at
Hmm.
home, right, and I still I'd just work out like 3 times a week. Didn't know exactly what I was doing. I was always banging up my shoulders because I didn't have proper
Hmm.
form. Um, Before COVID that year, I think 2019, I was just collecting gym equipment while my brother he was living with us, him and his wife. So I was collecting equipment, putting it in the garage because I saw good deals here and there. I was like, I'll spend like, $1,000, $2,000, make a
Yeah.
gym. Eventually he moved out. I put all the stuff in the gym, and then that was in
Yeah.
February, and then COVID hit March. Like pretty much right after my birthday, everything was shut down. So then I was like, all right, I might as well start working
Yeah.
out, right? And I already got the gym, so I wasn't scrambling to like get gym equipment. Luckily,
Yeah.
right? I was working out for like a month or so, and then COVID hit, and so I was like just trying to go all in on it. And so it started having. I started. feeling that passion, right? I would watch bodybuilding podcasts while I was working out. I'd throw the office on, throw some music on, have the garage door open, and I started to feel way more comfortable. I'm like, oh, this is like, this makes me feel good. Like, I like working out. I like the pump. I like after a workout, you feel like you check yourself. Oh, you see like this is growing and all
Sure.
that stuff. So I started to get addicted to that. And then I started wanting to upgrade my machines. I was like, okay, the barbell is okay, but now I want something with more stretch,
Sure.
right? I want something with the handles are different. So I started to become a connoisseur of gym equipment, all this stuff,
Mhm.
right? And now you'll see on my channel the amount of equipment I have. I have like a gym in my basement, like 3 machines. I can get like everything. I got like, the cables. I got it's like a leverage gym type situation.
Sure.
So then you can do anything that's like a hammer strength chest press or like a seated
Right.
row.
Right.
You can mimic that with that one machine, and you can see videos on my channel of those machines. But now I'm regularly like always working out at least 5 days a week, some sort of bodybuilding
Good. Yeah.
training, no matter what. And that I think is what is also kept my blood sugar like low. Like my blood sugar is never a problem. Um, if you do eat poorly and you do it after a workout or you're still working out, at least some of the calories will go into building muscle. So that's why when I was like, that's why I've always kind of I've had like a good frame. So it's like if I would eat a lot after being on a cut, I had just trained, so at least some of the calories are being used to build some muscle and whatnot. And the more muscle I built, I noticed I could eat more because it takes a lot more calories to keep muscle, right? That's why they say not to dip your calories so low. It's because it's harder for your body to hold on to muscle,
Yeah.
right? But that's not your goal right now, so it doesn't really matter, right? But that's where it started. I named it after my son, right? My son's name is
Yeah.
Phoenix, so Phoenix and Griffin. So I named the garage gym after him, and yeah, so it was just started there, and it just kept going. And I have all these machines, and that's what people have reached out to me about a lot. They're like, "Hey, you use machines in a different way. Like you get all these crazy back movements, and you have all these cool attachments, and it's like I have a full fledged gym." And I wanted to show that you don't have to just train with a barbell and a rack. Like you don't have to just have a straight bar and just do bench
Mhm.
press. If you have this type of cable machine, you can literally hit every angle of your body and get those almost same like
Cool.
movements and same arm paths and stuff as in the commercial gym,
Yeah.
right? Because there's things you just can't do with just a barbell and a bench. And I think people, I wanted to show a different way of having a home gym that's not just the same. Because everybody just gets a barbell and a bench and then they just never use it, or they never look like they actually like lift any weight, right? Because it's so like they like their shoulders start hurting and the movement's weird and it doesn't work for their
Right.
body, right? A straight bar. So that's where like dumbbells and cables and other machines start to come in. And so yeah, I mean that's where I am now. I'm still always, the thing is with a home gym, I don't know if you're going to go to a gym or a home gym when you eventually decide to start weight training.
So that's actually one of these projects that I'm working on. My wife has
Okay.
kind of started to invade my garage, and
Oh yeah.
as a result, we're going to be turning that into a home gym.
Okay, that's
I,
beautiful. Yeah, yeah, garage gyms are the
I
best.
think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. I
Yeah,
never park my vehicle in there, so it's a big space.
I never did.
So I'm like, why not? You said something that kind of piqued my interest. When you're going in there and when you're working out what, 5 days a week, you said?
5 days a week, man. I'm always doing something. I'm usually doing like, yeah, it's like push pull and then like a legs
Okay.
workout, and then I'll do another chest and arms or chest and back, like another two
Yeah.
workouts. That's something fun. I usually don't do legs twice a week
Okay.
just because I think my legs are they're good enough, so I don't need to focus on them as much
Sure.
right now. But yeah, what were you gonna
So
ask?
how long, sort of start to finish, you're walking in there versus walking out. How long are you working out? How long does that take?
See, the thing is, so we like my kids sleep. Like I work a part time
Mhm.
job, so when my kids sleep at like 1 to roughly like one
Mhm.
o'clock to 5 or 4 o'clock, they have a nap. So during that time, me and my wife split. Like she'll go do something, and I'll take like the 2 hours, to myself. So the workout is usually like an hour. But like if I got the podcast going, I got the music going, I'll take longer, right? Especially when it's summer
Mhm.
and stuff outside. I'll take 2 hours or whatever,
Mhm.
an hour and a half. But that's not what like generally it's about an
Yeah,
hour,
no.
and I'm usually doing like 5 exercises. So if I'm doing like a push day, it's usually like two big, like, an incline chest, a flat
Mhm.
chest, maybe a
Mhm.
decline, and then some shoulder work, right? The back, I'll do something because your back has a lot of different parts. So I'll do something that's higher, something that's mid, and then something that's from
Mhm.
above to kind of hit all areas of the back, and then maybe I'll do some like rear delts or some biceps on that
Yeah.
day. And then same with legs, right? Just like four different leg movements. And the thing is, it's like it's hard because when you're still losing weight, it's difficult to gain the muscle, right? Because it's like you
Hmm.
need to be in a surplus of
Yeah.
calories to gain muscle. You'll still gain
Yep.
some, but not optimally,
Yeah.
right? So I'm not training. I'm up here right now.
Hmm.
So I'm like, okay, I had like a 45 and a 25 on the thing last time, and I got roughly like 8 reps. I'll try to add a 2.5
Sure.
and then push hard,
Yeah.
right? But if I was being more serious about it, like I will, like when I feel like when I've lost more weight and I can properly bulk up, then I'll start like writing it down and I'll start like properly having a structure. But even just like 2 days a week or 3 days a week, even one day a week of a full body makes your like it helps your bones, it helps your muscle mass, it helps everything in your body so much more than if you were doing nothing. So it's like that's why everyone should have some sort of home
Hmm.
gym or go to the gym or do something because anything you do is great, right? It's for
Yeah.
anybody, especially as you get older, right? And
Yeah.
your bone density and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I love it, man. 5 days a week minimum, just because I enjoy doing
Sure.
it.
Sure. And you also made a good point about how you went. I'm just going to call it Craigslist because that's what I said.
Yeah, yeah,
I
Craigslist.
love how you
That's
went
legit.
on Craigslist and you just built it over
Yeah,
time. Their excuses
yeah,
are plentiful. Everybody's got them. I have more than my
yeah,
fair share, but
yeah,
there really are good deals if you're just willing to put in 5-10 minutes and go onto Marketplace
yeah.
or Craigslist and just find something. Because like you said, you don't have to just make this gym appear. Like it can be a process. You can
No.
build it over time.
Yeah, and I think the mistake people make as well, they always like you don't need to get so much. And your first piece, if you don't know if you can work out at home, like for you, you're starting from the
Yeah.
beginning, right? Some people don't like to work out at home, they get easily
Mhm.
distracted or whatever it is, right? So if you don't know, you're like, I don't know if I want to spend this money. I don't want to spend $3,000 on a rack or a cable machine, whatever. You literally just first see if you can do any workouts at
Mhm.
home, like get P90X or get whatever.
Yeah.
I also started with P90X back in the day, and I don't know if you can hear my kids screaming upstairs or something's
A
going
little bit. Nothing wrong
on.
with that.
Yeah, yeah. But that's life,
Yeah, we
right,
were
with
all
that.
kids once.
But yeah, right. But start with
Yeah.
anything and show yourself that hey, for 1 month, I'm gonna do 3 sets of push-ups, 3 sets of like squats,
Mhm.
and 3 sets of like if you have a pull-up bar, right, some pull-ups or you can do like body weight rows or something,
Mhm.
right, or hold a can of soup, like whatever. But just show yourself that you can do it, and then you go spend $200 and get like a bench and some dumbbells, and then same thing, show yourself you can do it for another
Yeah.
month. And if you can, then you'll realize you're like, yeah, this is good. I like this. Now you make that leap.
Mhm.
Maybe you see something on Craigslist that's like $500 for a whole
Mhm.
thing. Maybe you got more money. You're like a rich guy, and you see something for 10,000, you buy the whole thing. But I always tell people, prove to yourself that you can
Yeah.
do it, because buying the home gym, just like me, right? Like I always thought if I bought this or did this or buy that, I'm gonna now lose the weight. Like, oh, I got all this time off because my son's born. I'm gonna lose all the weight. It didn't happen, right? I didn't lose it all. It was still a struggle,
Yeah.
right? Because the habit wasn't
Mhm.
there, right? The right lifestyle, the right habit, the right amount of discipline wasn't there. And that's the exact same thing with home gym. So start slow, build up, and then once you know you can do it and you start to love it and it's a passion, that's when you go all in. And that's what I did, right?
Absolutely.
Like after that first year, 2 years,
Mhm.
I started to go all in, and now I have a lot of equipment, but I use
Good.
everything I have I
Yeah.
use.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your plan with the home gym? Do you do any type, like have you done any type of work like bodybuilding or cardio? Like what's your goal, like your future goal with your weightlifting or with muscle and stuff like that?
So my end goal, I would like to have a build similar to like a Will Tennyson, for example. He
Yeah, he's huge. It's
he
crazy how big his
he's
arms
in
are.
great shape, but he
Yeah.
also I don't know how to describe. He looks good. He doesn't look like he's on any kind of roid. He looks
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah,
Like I just want to be able
yeah,
to look good. I want to be able
yeah,
to lift things. When the day comes that I have kids, because again, my wife, she's
yeah,
wanting them. When that day comes, I just want to be able to go out and run and play
yeah,
with them and just not worry so
yeah,
much. And like we were talking about, go to the beach, take my shirt off, and just feel good, right?
yeah.
So I don't know if there's a particular metric for that. I just I don't know what it is, but I'll know it when I see it. That sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And as for the home gym, I'm probably going to be taking the similar approach to you because, I have a very good job, but I also have the
yeah,
same kind of financial constraints that a lot of people have. So
yeah,
it'll start very similar with a bench
yeah,
and basically dumbbells, and whether that's the
yeah.
set
I
of
think that's
dumbbells or
perfect.
just starting
Yeah.
and collecting over time. But
What I'd recommend is there's the company called Rep, and they have these dumbbells called the Rep Quick Draw.
okay,
Uh, and it's they're I don't know how much they are in the US. They might be like $500 something. It goes up to 50, 60 pounds. And they're like all metal. And then Rep also has another one that goes up to like 80 pounds, which are like the cream of the crop, like the best adjustable dumbbells, pretty much. So you just buy it, and it's like this big, right? Just two dumbbells, this big, 80 pounds. But that one, I think those are like $1,200 or something. But any adjustable dumbbells and a bench is going to get you like 80% of the way
okay,
there.
okay.
All right. Because with the barbell, you're stopping here. But with the dumbbells, you can come further. You can
Hmm.
get in deeper stretch. You can go past your chest. And then you can still do all the back movements while you're like laying on the
Hmm.
bench, right? And all the leg movements, you just hold the
Hmm.
dumbbells. I think the reason people want like the rack and stuff is because if they're doing leg
Yeah,
movements, the weight, like they need heavier weight, but like not everyone can do a squat like
yeah.
that, right? They have to like I don't have the ankle mobility, like my body doesn't do a squat
Hmm.
properly, but I can do a great dumbbell
Hmm.
squat, right? But I can't do a barbell squat as well. So I think dumbbells and an adjustable bench is like it's pretty much all you really
Okay.
need to get like most of your
Hmm.
results right
Hmm.
there. Right? And if you can get it for cheap, all the time there's people selling it,
Yeah,
right? And it takes up like no
yeah,
space, right? No, I think that's a great idea.
yeah. Well, like I said, that's been the plan. And then as for just getting my cardio in, I love walking out in my neighborhood. Um,
Yeah, me too.
and I feel like it's a great way to get out to unplug. If I'm not in the house or at work,
Yeah,
that's where I like to be outside doing things because I spend a lot of time indoors looking at screens. So if I can get
yeah.
out, unplug, and just walk around my neighborhood, 2 or 3 miles, and I'm set. I'm
Yeah.
happy.
How many steps are you getting a day? Like, are you measuring that at all?
Um, n- so no, I used to have an Apple Watch. It was doing great. Then I realized that
Yeah.
it's kind of just more of a hindrance. Like I would
Oh
keep it
yeah.
on to track my sleep, and then I realized I wasn't
Hmm.
sleeping very well because it was kind of rubbing against the sheets, and it was just.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I actually borrowed my wife's for a couple of days, and I was
Yeah.
getting about 15,000 steps
Oh wow.
in
Yeah, that's a
there
lot.
thereabouts.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, your phone will also track it though. Like if you just have your phone in your pocket,
okay.
yeah. So like the phone, I think Apple they have a built-in step tracker, but you can just get like there's an app called
Yep.
Pedometer. I always say pedometer. It's so weird. But it's pedometer.
Okay. Gotcha.
And it just tracks your steps, right? And then it's just because you always have your phone on you. So I use that, and I think I get like I get like 8 to 12,000 like on average, something like
Uh-huh.
that. Some days though in Canada, right? Like when it's winter, you're down. I'm down at like five
Yeah.
thousand,
Oh yeah.
right? But then in the summer, I'm up at like 16,000 every day. So because we love, like me and my wife will go put the kids to bed. My mom's here, and we'll just walk around the block, point at this house, that
Hmm.
house. Like we love like looking at houses and stuff like
Yes.
that, and gardens and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And before you know, it's been an hour and a half,
Hmm.
and you have like 10,000 steps, right? So it's pretty crazy. I think that's the best form of cardio. Like that's just it's mindless. It just goes
It
away,
is. Yeah. Yeah.
all right, easily.
And that's
Yeah.
that's one of the big reasons why I haven't been able to justify getting a treadmill. You know,
Yeah, I used to have like it just takes up a lot
it
of
does.
space.
Yeah. So I was like, get out. You can walk around. My wife, she wants a treadmill.
My notes.
I'm just a little bit more. Do I really need it? No, I get my steps in at work, or I get them, when I'm out on my walk. So it's just not that high on my list. But yeah, walking is the big thing, and then doing my running on the spot. That's also been I love to do.
Yeah, I think the thing with the cardio is just like I used to have a treadmill and a bike and all that stuff, and I used to have a little stepper
Hmm.
thing that you can like lay on a couch like a lazy person and then just like pretend you're while you're watching
Yeah.
TV and all that stuff. And it's like there's certain diminishing returns because if you do a lot of cardio, like if you go and you like I'm gonna do some running or jogging all that stuff, you might move less at the rest of the
Hmm.
day. So then now your calories are back down. So you've done this
Hmm.
cardio, which makes you more hungry, but now it's causing you to be lazier through the rest of your
Sure.
day. Some people do cardio and they get more
Yeah.
energy and then they burn even more
Yeah.
calories. But other people will do it and they'll sit around a lot
Mhm.
more. So if they never did cardio in the first place, they'd be moving around and then they'd end up
Yeah.
better. So it's like that's the thing with cardio. I think for me, it was just draining. I'd rather use that energy to build muscle.
Mhm.
Helps me look
Sure.
better. It makes me able to eat more calories. Helps me burn more calories. All that stuff. And then I just walk, which for me doesn't feel like tiring or anything
Mhm.
like that. So I feel like that's easier than like even now. Like a lot of bodybuilders, like they're moving over from like regular cardio. Like they'll try not to use it. They'll try to do as much as they can with their
Mhm.
diet, and then as much as they can with their step count. I know Will Tennyson. He just does all steps,
Yeah.
right? And if he wants to cut more weight, he'll do 5,000 more
Yeah.
steps a day. It's just easier than if you're doing cardio. It's like usually people I would reserve that for like like if you're taking a photo shoot or you're going on your wedding, your vacation, then I do that. But the other thing is the heart. Like I like boxing and stuff like
Mhm.
that, so I think that's fun. Like it's fun to get your heart rate up once in a while and everything.
Mhm.
But I ain't no CrossFitter. Like I don't think I can do that every
Oh
single day.
no.
My joints would just hurt.
They're not
I
real,
think I've
man.
beat up my
Those
joints.
CrossFitters, man, they're a different breed.
It's too much, man. I try. Like I try going for jogs, and you're talking about like how much better you feel when you lose weight. It's like when I would bend down, or how like because I have young kids, so when you bend down, the pressure on your knees,
Mhm.
my legs, like how heavy I was, it would just like I'd get up and I'd be like dizzy and
Yeah.
stuff because of all that pressure. My knees would go numb, and so now that I've even lost like 40 or 50 pounds, it's much
Mhm.
better, right? Like the knee pain is way
Yeah.
less. Like the sleep is way
Mhm.
better. Like everything is better. So it makes a big difference in just your regular day to day life losing that
Mhm.
weight,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
So yeah,
So, question for you. When you're out walking, what kind of a pace are you setting?
I'll try to walk
Yeah.
faster than when you're thinking about it. So say you're just walking and you're not thinking about it. I'll start thinking about it. Be like, let me pick up the speed
Mhm.
because I'm not like mindlessly walking, right? I'm consciously thinking. Let me just try to go a little bit faster instead of like when I was walking my dog, it's just like you're barely like she would stop every five
Mhm.
seconds, right? So you're like barely moving. So I'll just take that mental effort. I'll just go like a little bit more so that I can still talk, like I can still hold a conversation, but I'm not slowing around. I'm kind of like you
Mhm.
know, but I'm not like speed walking. Are you walking super fast?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
You'll actually,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the walks
It's
aren't
probably better.
well, especially right now. It is cold outside. I mean, it is beautiful days. I've been very lucky. There's no snow on the ground, no
Yeah,
ice, but
we got a lot of snow.
it is brutal. So my goal is,
Yeah,
you know, pull the car in the driveway, put it in park, and then I'm out there doing my walk. I don't go inside, because I know that if I
yeah,
go
yeah, yeah,
inside, then it's gonna be nice and warm. I'm gonna want to take my shoes off, and then
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so I'm just like, all right, let's get home, let's get it done, and then that's it. So it's just been like a speed walk, the just to get it done. And also I feel like at the end of it, I'm like, oh dang, I feel good. I feel like I've burned some excess there. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's the thing. A lot of people like the problem that they have is like they work full time jobs, and you're so drained
Yeah.
that when you come home, the last thing you want to do is exercise,
Hmm.
right? It's like unless it's a passion of yours, like this, like doing a sport or like bodybuilding or whatever it
Hmm.
is, or walking. It's like it's you get home and you just want to go right
Yeah.
inside. So how are you not doing that? Like how do you just start and
Yeah.
go, right? I work part time. So luckily it's like if I work 4 to 9, I'm only working five
Hmm.
hours, right? Or if I and the days that I work 9 to 5, those days I just take off from the gym, right? It's like 2 days a week that I work a full day. The rest of the days I work half of a day usually,
Hmm.
right? So what's your advice to people like that, right? You're a full time like a 9 to 5 type
Yeah.
job
Yeah.
or
I'm getting
yeah,
about 44, 46 hours a week. So yeah, normal
okay.
hours.
Yeah, it's full time.
Um, it my advice is just what do you want? If you want to lose 40, 50, 60 pounds, it sucks, but you know what you got to do, that sort of thing. In the beginning,
Yeah,
I hated going out for walks. I really did. I never liked walking. I swore up and down I would never enjoy it. Um,
really.
but then I was like, just get up and try. Just make the effort just
Yeah,
a little bit. And over time, it got better and easier. And I started to, oh, that house looks nice, or oh, that dog is really nice, and over
yeah,
time, you
yeah,
just
yeah,
learn to enjoy it a little bit more. And there's days where I come home and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. But those
yeah.
days are becoming fewer and further between. So, Yeah.
right?
What do you want and how bad do you want it and how quickly do you want it to happen? I guess would be my thing.
So I think sometimes it's so simple, right? Like the
Yeah.
advice is just it's so
Yeah.
simple that I wonder if it's just up to you as a person to decide if it clicks.
Well,
Does it click right now? Are you going to do it or
well,
not?
exactly.
Right?
And the excuses they get so unbelievably creative that second
Yeah.
that mind of yours, it's like trying to get you back to your old ways. It's like, oh no,
Right.
it's cold out there, just go inside and relax, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh dude, leave me
Hey, you already
alone.
worked all day, right? Just chill,
Yeah.
right? Just you worked all day. You'll do it tomorrow. Do it another day.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
an
Right.
endless struggle, seriously.
Yeah. How long have we been talking so far? How
We
long
are at
this
55 minutes
podcast been?
and 25
Okay,
seconds. So maybe
that's pretty good.
maybe cap it off at the hour mark, and then
Yeah. What is something we can end with? I mean, maybe
maybe
whoever's watching, let us know if there's any specific question you want us to talk
yeah.
about. But yeah, what would you end it
Well, I was thinking
with? Like maybe an ending question or something,
maybe we
or
come up
goals or
with like
something.
a goal or something to shoot for by the next time we meet up and chat. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good. I mean, so yeah, like right, it's funny. Yesterday I ate around like 1,600 calories. I was 241 finally,
Mm,
right? And my wife also broke like her like under a 10-pound mark,
awesome.
right? So she was I won't say how much she
Yeah.
was, how much she weighed,
Oh,
but
dangerous game.
she went under, right? Yeah, 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 yeah. But I was lower that day, and today I'm higher. I've already eaten around 2,900
Sure.
calories. Because I'm not like a strict, right? Like it's hard. I'm very all or
Sure.
nothing, right? So I would like to probably in the next week, I think I could definitely get down to I want to see 238,
Okay.
right? I want to get that 2 pounds in a week, that 2.5 pounds, 238, 239 properly. And I think because right now I think I was 241.7.
Mm,
So I want to have a week where I just eat properly clean,
okay.
right? I think I've gotten a bunch of cravings out of the way. I don't know if I'm someone who can die like I used to be able to do it, but I think as now that I'm married and I have like my life is
Sure.
settled, I don't know why I'm having a hard time. I used to be able to just diet straight for like four
Hmm.
weeks, 5 weeks. Now it seems like I can get through the week and then it's maybe a little bit higher again, and maybe I get through another three
Hmm.
days and it goes up and down and over net, it's like I might have lost a pound that
Sure.
week. But if I had just kept straight the whole way, I would have lost 2 or 3
Yeah.
pounds, right? So I think I want to have a week, and maybe this will be easier, right, with your support and anybody who's watching this,
Absolutely.
right? The support and like putting it out there. So yeah, I think that's it. I want a clean week until whatever the next time. I don't know when the next time we'll talk
Hmm.
is. A clean week, 2 weeks, whatever it is, and try to get to that 238 mark. I think
Yeah.
that's something I haven't been there for a
Sure.
while. Like I've been over 240 for a long
Yeah.
time, so I really want to get there.
No, I think that's a great one. I think that's a really good goal. I think if I'm going to set myself a goal, I'm thinking like I was saying, we got the biggest sporting day of the year coming up here pretty soon. I'd like to
Yeah,
get,
that's tough.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to get through that, and not come out on
So
the other
you will
side.
not. You won't go over 1300. Sorry to cut you. You won't go over 1300 even on that
No,
day.
oh no. Well,
Wow, that's
I'm just
dedication.
worried about that slippery slope.
Yeah.
Be-
Well, because it's not even that day; it's the
It's the
next day.
next,
Because if you did it that day, like say you ate 3,000 calories or your maintenance,
yeah,
right? But the water weight is going to be a
yeah,
lot. But say you just ate your maintenance, technically you didn't. Aside from the water weight, you didn't lose any
yeah,
ground. You kept the
yeah,
same. But the problem is the cravings it creates for the following
exactly.
days that leads you to eat more and more, and then you put on the two
Exactly.
pounds. That's the hard
Exactly.
part.
So yeah, I think yeah, that would be mine, is to just get through to the weigh-in Monday at
Yeah.
either hopefully at a loss from that week prior. I think that's going to be my
Okay.
personal goal, is to just get through Super Bowl Sunday
Yeah.
and get on the scales Monday and not weigh more than I did the week prior. I think that's going to be mine.
That's this weekend, right? Or is it next?
I believe it's no, it's next weekend. Next, yeah,
Okay, next
June
weekend.
30th.
Well, see, that's the thing, and I find as well, like having someone to call. Like, so if you're, I don't know how you're, like, my relationship with my wife is really good. Like, we talk a lot about the weight
Sure.
stuff. Do you guys also talk a lot
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that?
that's
Like, are
become a
you
big
guys
thing.
on
Yeah.
the same page? Yeah. Yeah. So I find even having another, like, it's great. Like, I'm going to talk to her about it, and we're both on the same page. But I find, like, having friends, right? Like, somebody else, somebody outside of your
Hmm.
life right? Like you and me,
Hmm.
right? If we can, hey, I'm struggling, like you have 20 minutes for a phone call. I think we should utilize that. So
100%.
I'm going to make sure I'm available for
I
you. If you
appreciate
can
it.
be available for me
Yeah,
too, that would be
absolutely.
really helpful. So when it comes football time or anytime you're struggling, just like shoot me a message, and we can, you have a quick chat about our goals. And it's funny because me and Thomas look the same. Like our bodies are very
We're very, very
similar.
similar. Yeah, very similar. Which is
And
why I encourage everybody on my channel to go ahead and check out Iron Fiends. I'm gonna link it down below for you guys to find. I think it's really important, like I said, that we help each other out and that we just show some love wherever we can and that positivity. Um,
wherever we can, and it's about everyone. Just it's not just losing the weight, it's finally doing what you've been saying you're going to do
exactly,
for like
exactly.
since you're 12 years old,
Yeah,
13 years old, 15 years
yeah.
old. Just finally helping that kid out and being like, I'm going to do this for
Hmm.
you, for me, for my family, and I'm going to do it, as hard as I possibly
Yeah,
can because I want to move
yeah,
on. Like I want to move on. I don't want to be in this part of my
yeah,
life in my
yeah,
30s, right? I'm almost 30, and it's like I don't want to be
yeah.
still struggling with this,
Yes.
right? So I want to move on from that, and I want to live my new life,
Yeah.
and I want to do that for that young me that was just like
Hmm.
quiet in high school and felt really
Hmm.
like crappy about himself and everything like that. So
Yeah.
and I think we can get there with the support, and I think that's a great way to
I
end
think,
this.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So you said it best. I'm not going to add to it. Thank you, everybody, so much for tuning in. Hope you all
Yeah,
have a wonderful, wonderful next couple of days and weeks ahead. And we are just going to keep on keeping on. Um, Wishing you the best. Thank you, Dan, for sitting down with me. I look forward to
yeah.
hopefully,
Thanks for having me, man. I really
yeah,
appreciate it.
absolutely. But everybody, take
Awesome. All
care
right,
and goodbye for now.
take care. Have a good
All
one.
righty. Bye
Bye.
bye.